drinking his or using his kid's blood. I love it.
What is it? Is that 1987?
Right?
I got my
Watch
my
out.
my imitation Don Johnson Miami Vice hair.
I love it. Looks good,
So
dude.
yeah, we just had an epic squat fest.
Today?
Yeah, we just had, oh my gosh, it was so fun. We had a crew come over.
Uh-huh.
Wow, I love what this looks like on IG. That's some great color. And they see the number, they see everything right there.
Wow,
I love it.
pretty nice.
Dang. Thank you, my friend. You just show me how this the live looks on IG.
So good.
All right, we'll tell you. Well, hello everybody to the chat. Wow, it is popping. Big Johnny was at the family was at a wild little weekend. Yes.
Yes. So Saturday was Gasparilla. Gasparilla is something that happens here in Tampa, Florida. That's only in Tampa, Florida. It's been happening for I don't know how long. It's basically like back in the day, I guess the pirates invaded the Bay of Tampa Bay. They were looking for the key of the city or something like that at that point. But every year it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And there's a 500,000 people that came just for Saturday that were there on Bayshore Boulevard, and it was just it's just bananas, guys. It's something I can't even. If I tell you, you're like until you see it and there, you really don't know how it is. And every year we usually do a float. We're the float, we're in the parade, we're throwing out beads, we're throwing out Titan shirts and all that. And we've done it so many years. And this year we decided, my buddy's got a house on Bayshore, and he's like, listen, let's just throw this extravagant party, and we'll bring these huge DJs. So we brought these big ass DJs. I mean, one guy books between $200,000 and $400,000. Another guy is like 20, 30,000. So we got him a lot cheaper than that, thank God. But it was just a crazy exclusive, invite only type get together, and
Right.
it was definitely good. It was good
I
music, good
love the
times. We had
videos you
great
send
weather. It was 80
over.
degrees.
Those videos you send over. Thank you.
Give me a
Cherise. That's
Yeah, right.
awesome.
Got to
I
break down and
love
have some
that.
fun, man.
I just love it.
we don't have to
Yeah.
drink or anything. Just go out there and dance.
Yep. There was the cardio.
That was the cardio. That's the only that and sex are the only cardio that I have.
Well,
I'll
sometimes
lose
that's
too
all
much
you
weight
need.
otherwise.
That's all you
I
need.
guess that's the only time I do hit cardio at 8 seconds. Done.
It's cardio. That's right. Can't take them anywhere. Gosh. All right. Well,
um,
Oh
well,
man.
I saw the videos. I saw followed the stories. I followed along. And again, you're out there moving and grooving
with
like
a
a 20
youngster.
year old.
Yeah.
Both of you guys, you and
Yep.
Mama, and you're popping
Yep.
the top.
I'm
Hey,
not
look at
gonna
what you
lie.
go with Johnny. Any place is a good place to pop the top.
Johnny,
That's
I'm not
right.
gonna lie.
That's
I
right.
was a little jealous. I'm not gonna lie. Just a
Hey,
little bit.
don't worry. You guys can come down next year, and we'll have
There
it
you go.
even bigger and better next year. There was just a
There you
concept type party this year, so next year
go.
is going to be insanity for sure, 100%. And those days like that they're so much fun. They went by so quick. I was like, it's already 6 o'clock already. I mean, man, it's quick. Good music, good times. Like I said, just dance and stuff like that. We don't
Yeah.
do anything extracurricular or anything like that. And I think I had like two or three glasses of champagne tops, but it was just
Fun
fun,
stuff.
man. Like I said, it's a good time. One of my buddies came down from Chicago, has never seen Gasparilla, and he got to experience it and stuff like that. We had some of the Titan girls there. But like I
Hmm.
said, next year is going to be bigger and badder. So you guys are definitely going to come down. You guys got to check it out for sure.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
speaking of that, we have to make arrangements because just if everybody doesn't know, we are going to be at the Arnold Classic X. We're going to be at the event.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is if you are there for the event, we are going to be running the show at Pro Gym, which is
Yep.
the host gym to the Arnold Classic. And
Yep.
we will be having our podcasts going throughout the days that I am there with Big Johnny.
Oh, I
And
can't
we're going to
wait.
be interviewing all the top dogs, I guess you would say, because everybody's going to be there. Anybody and everybody
Yeah.
that top dogs in the health and fitness will be there, and they will be coming over and sitting down with us and having chats. So this will be a fun weekend. But anybody and everybody that wants to see us, you'll be able to see us right at Pro Gym, which
That's
is
right. It's not far from the expo.
it's
It's-
the
you can
host gym
walk.
for the expo. So
Yeah.
it's walking distance.
Hmm. It's gonna be a fun one.
I can't wait. It's gonna be
Mhm.
good. Might be a little cold up there, but it's okay.
Just looking, I think we are.
So
Yeah, wow, it's 4 weeks.
mhm,
4 weeks away after
Yeah, it's
this.
not far.
not far. So Johnny, let's start with that competition that we competition I call it that
Sure.
we put together.
Sure.
Let's talk about that a little bit and when is that gonna end so we could still have people jumping in there.
Sure. So with the Titan Medical Transformation Challenge, 60-day challenge. Everybody can enter in, whether you're a patient and if you're getting therapies, you can automatically enter that way. Or if you're not a patient, just a Titan supporter, and you want to get inside the Titan Transformation Challenge, all you have to do is buy a shirt. And at that point, you can just follow the rules. We have a Titan Transformation Challenge on the website, titanmedicalcenter.com. You go right to the Transformation Challenge there. It has all the rules to enter in and what you need to do. You'll basically, you'll present us a picture. You'll send us in an original picture to start the contest, front, side, and back. And at that point, we'll get an updated picture each week of you. That won't get posted, but you will post one static post and one story per week as well, trying to motivate other people to
That's
get
right.
going. Right? And that's what it's all about. And I use this as a tool so other people do get motivated because, it isn't me saying it, it's them saying it, and it's them saying it to their friends and saying, like, look, I'm doing this right now. You can do this too. Why don't you start, even if you're not in the contest, start getting on the train right now and start being healthier, and start living life like you should. I mean, obviously, listen, I told you what happened yesterday. I was with my dad and we went to a colonoscopy this morning or yesterday morning. And the doctor came back and said he had colon cancer. It was almost like stage 3 or stage 4. We're going to wait the biopsy and stuff like that. So with that and the, chronic kidney disease that he has and, congenital heart failure and stuff like that, the biggest thing that I want to preach out there, and I will start putting a force behind it even more than I already do, is check your health, right? And
Yeah.
if you're not healthy or you think you're not healthy, it's time to start getting healthy. And it's not just for you, it's for your kids, your wife, grandchildren, whoever you got out there that loves you and cares about you. You want to be around for them and you want to be healthy. And, with me, I'm always like, listen, check up. And I'm always about blood checkup and looking through blood. But if you're over 40 years old, you need to get a colonoscopy and start looking there for sure, 100%. If you're a guy, you need to start, looking at the prostate too as well, because it's not just colon cancer, it's prostate cancer is on a high rise right now. And at that point, that's what the Titan Transformation Challenge is all about. It's all about getting healthy, getting the best shape of your life. But health is not just on the outside, it reflects on the inside too as well. And that's where some of these different tests and diagnostics need to be done on you just to make sure you're good. Something like that, I've learned a lot about colon cancer in the last 24 hours. Obviously, I'm a researcher. And at that point, if you can find it in the early stages, you might not have symptoms, but they can get rid of it very easily. And if you wait, it can grow over time. And at that point, they might have to do chemo and other things. So, do it for yourself, do it for your family, do it for whoever cares about you and loves you. And start getting healthy. And the Titan Transformation Challenge is going to get you on the way, and it'll be you with other people motivating you around you to keep on the challenge to get in the best shape of your life. And if you're in the best shape of your life on the outside, hopefully the inside reflects. And if not, you can do the diagnostic testing and find out what's going on and fix that too if it's in the earlier stages.
Yeah, and I want to say real quick before we move forward, like a really good way of getting someone that you care for, that you love, to get their blood work is actually get them the blood work as a gift. Because some
Right.
people, if they don't go to the doctor as they should, and they don't check themselves. They don't go until something is wrong. And I know many people like that, okay, including some in my family, like my brother.
Yep.
So I'm gonna get him for his birthday a blood
Oh,
panel
nice.
from Titan Medical, because
Nice.
even though he doesn't think about himself, I am worried for
Mm-hmm.
him. He's 2 years younger than me because he's 40.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to check his
Mm-hmm.
prostate and so forth. He never goes to the
Of
doctor.
course.
So we need to know what's going on with him before it's too late. So
Yeah.
as a gift, it's a cheap gift, it's 200 bucks, 150, whatever it
Yeah.
may be. You get
Yeah.
to give to someone that might actually save their life. You just never
Absolutely.
know. So I think that's a
Absolutely.
good way of pushing it on someone to get their blood work done.
100%. You know, my dad's old school, so even in that, when he went to the doctor, if your doctor's pushing you away or putting you out, like originally he scheduled this and it was supposed to be 7 months ago. So, and I didn't know this, or else I would have got into that medical practice's butt and been calling them left and right. If you're having symptoms of some sort that are really out of whack, and for his, he was vomiting all the time, he couldn't go to the bathroom, he had blood in his stool. These are serious symptoms. And
Yeah.
at that point, he told these guys these symptoms, and they just put it off. It's almost like negligence. I mean, guys, healthcare is not what it used to be, and I know that we're always supposed to, have blind faith in doctors and supposed to be the trusting of them. They got our best, uh, you know, whatever's best for us. They have in mind, But it's sad, but it doesn't happen like that all the time, and practitioners are not like that. So, if you need to find somebody else, do that, or if you need to hound your practitioner or the office, I would do that too. Trust me, it works.
Right.
Yeah, that's. I didn't know you were gonna let them know today, but I
Sorry,
know that
dude.
you
I
would know.
just,
It's okay.
I
It's
just,
what's
I feel
going on
like
with
that's a
you.
big
Unfortunate.
one.
You and I talked a bit yesterday because you know that this is how I lost my dad.
I know.
And again, it was old school mentality. Men
Stubbornness.
men don't need. We're good.
Hmm.
Until I feel sick, I don't need to see a doctor. And
Right.
that's an interesting one because, like we just had on last week's guests, we had a couple guys on, and
Yeah.
in no world did they even feel average.
Right.
Talking about sick, they're beyond healthy and beyond feeling healthy, and they both
Right.
had something. And
Right.
so I don't know how we express this any more than we just do. And again, you're not immune to the world of unhealthiness because of what you do in your company that you own.
Right.
You're human, and the family's
Right.
human, and
Exactly.
we have
And
stubborn people around us.
and we have these
Absolutely.
conversations on Tuesdays not because we are trying to push to sell anything to these guys. Guys, don't buy
Right.
anything. What we're
Right.
trying to push is just find out if you need any help when it comes to your health. Just find out. We're just trying to push the health side of it. Like, find out if something is wrong or not. Nothing is wrong, walk away, go have fun. But if
Right.
something is wrong, you're going to be thanking us. You'll be like, you know what? I am so lucky I listened to you guys. So that's what we're
Absolutely.
pushing. We're not pushing to buy peptides, to do who knows what,
What
unless you
was our
need it.
discussion, John, when we sat down first? This is interesting because it's a good point that you
Yeah.
made. Our first discussion when we sat down with John out in Florida was this is nothing to do with winning the universe. This is nothing to do with our becoming a team with Titan Medical. Had nothing to do with us hoping that we help somebody come Mr. Olympia. That is absolutely not even right. Isn't that what we talked
Right.
about?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It
We
was about,
talked about we
letting people
want
understand, educating them, you know,
healthy,
making,
healthy
making sure, yeah,
individuals. So
health is
I
always number
just
priority.
Um, Now that I'm talking again, um, I was
you
just
seem to do
telling,
that
yeah, I
sometimes.
was I was talking to Mike over the weekend because I came home and I listened to certain podcasts, but
What's her name?
um,
She's a pretty bright
Robbins,
lady.
yeah, Mel Robbins. She has great podcasts, and I listen to her because she brings in brilliant doctors, people that talk about health, but they really get deep into everything. So I was listening to this doctor. She was saying how um, women, like any
Or
uh,
the studies.
studies they did, when it came to humans, it was on men. They never did them on women because women, their hormones go crazy and they really don't know what to grab. But man, they just did it all on men until the 80s. And that's crazy because then, of course, women don't know what's going on with their hormones now, right? So we don't know our T level, we don't know estrogen, we don't know progesterone, we don't know any of that stuff because nobody has done researches to really see what we need. So I love the fact that we have companies like Time Medical here, and they could help us women that when I go to the doctor, they just do a blood work and they're like, you healthy, you could just go home. I'm like, where's I want to know my levels,
Yeah.
my
Right.
testosterone levels. I want to know my progesterone. Where am I getting, I'm getting old here. Do I start a menopause here? Like, what's going on? Why do I have all these feelings? What's happening? And they
Yeah.
just don't know the answer unless they go online and they read about it, which is mind blowing.
It
Yeah.
was. It,
So with women, it's really weird. I don't know why they do this, but usually like primary cares will tell you to go to your gynecologist, and your gynecologist, go into your gynecologist and you say, hey gynecologist, hey doc, I got, my skin's a little
Yeah.
dry, I don't got the energy I got, maybe I have some vaginal dryness, whatever. They're just going to prescribe you right then and there, like synthetic hormones. They don't do blood tests at all. I'll put anybody to the Pepsi
so
challenge. Go to
this
your
is when.
gynecologist.
Is that when they're going through menopause? They give them the basic protocol.
They might they might come in at 30 or 40 years old.
Yeah.
It just depends,
Yeah.
because women are going through puberty earlier than ever. So do guys, and at that point, like disrupting hormones, like endocrine disrupting hormones, chemicals are all around. So at that point, like people are getting disrupted earlier on in age, whether it's a guy in his 20s or a girl in her 20s. Even Charisse, when she was 15, 16 years old. I mean, at that point, like when endometriosis is a high estrogen level, it's fueling this growth. So you really don't know when somebody needs hormone replacement or some sort of hormone to balance maybe some other things. And that's where like guys like, hey, listen, we run a blood test on a guy, it's no problem. Usually a doctor, not an issue. Urologist, maybe, right away. But gynecologists will not do it. And the reason is they'll say just what Mona said. Well, your hormones fluctuate every day. So
Yeah.
we're not going to get a right average here. It's going to be one thing today and next thing
Yeah.
tomorrow. Well, they're going to be pretty close. Now, the only thing that's different with a female is their follicular stage. So if they're going through a period or whatever their period is, or if they're going through menopause and they don't have no period, there's different reference ranges for each one of those for a female. So
Yes.
if you're on right, so if you're on birth control, that could
Yes.
just throw out all of those reference ranges, and you
Everything.
need to just go on that. But this is where it lies. So
I bet
urologists
you.
really don't. Go ahead.
Keep going. Keep going.
No, so gynecologists, at that point, like, they might treat you with synthetic hormones, and then synthetic hormones might not be the best thing for you. Synthetic hormones are based, where those were the cancer studies. Bioidentical hormones don't have like cancer studies like that. So it is a little bit of a difference of what you would go and get from a gynecologist compared to what you would get from us, as far as just the medication wise. But the real deal is finding out what's really going on and having a true number to look at, a baseline of some sort. Because even if you're consistent with a woman in the blood testing, if you blood test them, right when they're having their period, you blood test them the next time right when they're having their period, those levels will be consistent of where it needs to be at, and you can kind of look and see. If those levels are at different parts of the follicular stage, then you might have to some adjusting or look at some different things on both of them. But you can look at a female's hormones and figure out where they're at. It doesn't say like, oh, they're just going to fluctuate every day, and then we can't look at that. That makes no sense. Like, you do a blood test for a reason. We can look at these different reference ranges, and females can break down to one of those categories, and you can figure it out. And that's just testosterone. When we talk about estrogen and all that, different things too as well. So it's a little bit harder to balance a female, but it can be done, very simple and easy. And it might require one or two blood tests to really dial you in. But at that point, once you're dialed in, you're going to be good to go.
Exactly. And I bet you that even if I don't know how many women we have on live here, but probably a very small percentage of them know that uh, when you get your period from day 1 to day 14 is when your progesterone and estrogen and even testosterone spikes up, and that is the time when women should, and you're hungry, right? They're like, I'm getting my
Right.
period, I gotta eat chocolate, I gotta eat, I gotta. That's the time when they should be eating like an athlete, training like an athlete. That's the time when
Yeah.
when you actually could put some muscle on. They go, oh
Yep.
no, I got my period, I'm sick, I don't feel good, and they go the
Yep.
opposite because they
Yep.
just don't know. All this
Yep.
research is put to the side. So
Yep.
yeah, if we could help them, if we could get them in there, get blood work, and see where the progesterone is, see what makes sense for someone that's,
Absolutely.
like my age, how to eat, how to do things so they could improve their health. I think that we could
Absolutely.
definitely do that. So,
Improve health and improve quality of life. Guaranteed.
mhm.
What's Titan Medical focused on this week? Besides the
Uh,
incredible Titan Medical
sure.
Challenge,
Yeah.
which we talked about, what is some of the peptides and HRT that you're focused this
Sure.
week?
So, two of the big ones today for this week, there's actually two specials going on. One is on a peptide called thymosin alpha 1, TA1. And this is great for the immune system. This is great to create, helper
Youthful stem
cells and
cell.
killer cells that go hunt down bad cells in the
Right.
body and then
TE1.
replace them. TA1's a big one for immunity. And they took TA1 away um, right in, I don't know, maybe the third or fourth month during COVID because there was a pharmacy out there that said it was a COVID cure. And then doctors started saying it was the COVID cure. And that doctor no longer has her license anymore. And then what happened was the FDA, they came around, they said, you guys better not create this peptide anymore. We do not want this
Uh,
peptide out. So
But of
yeah.
thymosin alpha,
course, but of course, thank you,
you
Felchi.
know, yeah. I mean, listen, TA1 it's an amazing peptide, especially for immune system boosting. I mean, it's just out of this world. Even the research, when you look at it, it actually increases the efficiency of vaccines. So if you did get
Yeah.
vaccinated, this is going to help improve that vaccination, which is really, really cool and build up your immune system. Some people have autoimmune diseases and everything like this. This is good for those people. So, I mean, I can't say enough about TA1. I know it helped Sharice through what she was going through when the virus was around
Right.
and a lot of our other patients. So when it got pulled away, a lot of people were really upset. So I'm glad to see there are some pharmacies that are producing TA1 again. Thymosin alpha 1, some people know it, some people don't. If you don't know it, this is the top immune system boosting therapy that I've ever seen as far as that goes.
I
So
know
I would
people are going
definitely
to
look
love
into
that because
TA1.
I know that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it seems like I'm in this little bubble of health. So, one of the big things I hear about is everybody going, I want to bump my immune system, bump it, get it up there,
Absolutely.
the zinc, whatever
Yep.
I need to bump that thing so I can be a savage. So
Yep.
that's a great one for this week. So that's
For sure.
focused this week at Titan Medical. So make sure if
Yep.
you do this during the show, get over there, tell them Titan sent you.
Yep.
Tell Titan sent you.
That's
How,
right.
how crazy is that?
That's
And,
awesome.
and what's your second?
Second one is IGF-1 LR3. So we really never run really specials on IGF-1 because it's in pretty high demand. But at this point, like with the challenge coming up and everything coming up, I want people to be able to get as much as possible and get as best bang for the buck as possible. So IGF-1 LR3, you'll get $25 off any therapy special you want. TA1's the exact same. We got a couple different doses for IGF-1 LR3. And if people don't know what IGF-1 LR3 is, it stands for insulin-like growth factor 1. And the LR3 means it's a long extended version of it. And basically what it is, it's if you were taking growth hormone, you'd have to go through a race and go from the pituitary all the way down to the liver for it to convert into IGF-1, 2, and 3. With this, you're going straight from the starting line to the finish line and putting IGF-1 directly into the body and being able to utilize the IGF-1
There you go.
for a number of different things. Recomp, losing body weight, leaning out, gain lean body mass, anti-aging effect of all different sorts. So there's a lot that comes with IGF-1 R3. I love this one. You can use this, as an injection in the morning for weight loss if you want to do that and get the benefits. You can spot inject bilaterally into muscle groups, right beforehand and start using it for, growing muscles. Now, the research I don't want to say that that's backed by research, but I mean, I've been using it for a while. I know a lot of guys do the spot injecting with IGF-1R3 bilaterally and get great effects with it. So,
But this is
one
also
way or the other.
something you can take at night. Am I correct?
Absolutely. You can take it in the morning
Okay.
and take it at night, so at that point, it could probably help sleep. And IGF-1 levels usually bump during the nighttime anyway. So
Right.
you can just help that bump up a little bit more.
That being said, on the world of social media,
Yes.
this is interesting that this is something that could help bump up your IGF levels and help you recover better. And like you said, man, it's
Yep.
again for me, I'll take the healthy skin, the good sleep, and the recovery any day.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
but the discussion is Samorlin or these peptides that you can take at night, like IGF-1 or anything else,
Hmm.
MK, are I guess nothing compared to HGH. I don't know what another term is, and I've always wondered this because, again, if you guys don't know, I've been in the industry since the early '80s, and the one thing I've
Way
always
back.
heard about HGH is if you do it for health reasons in a small amount, which again I go back to again, be smart here.
Hmm.
Then for a period of time, this would be a great thing for you. Except
Hmm.
it's really expensive,
Hmm.
and then in time, or possibly the individual, because I have some friends that I know that had issues with it early.
Hmm.
Some of my closest famous friends did HGH when they were in their 20s, and things came up that was prone to this person or
Hmm.
individuals,
Hmm.
cancer.
Hmm.
So there seems to be, yes, it works great, but there's also some crazy side effects for some individuals. Mostly if you're not going to follow a smart, tight medical recommendation dose.
Hmm. Hmm.
But can you explain to me on the philosophy about doing these peptides that may
Sure.
match or at least give you a boost enough to where you can be healthy but not risk the side effects? Does that
Sure.
make sense, or am I just
No,
talking
no,
backwards
it
now?
makes it makes perfect sense, Mike. Perfect sense. So the video you showed me, the guy was talking about, you know, growth hormone peptides versus growth hormone, right? And he was talking about raising IGF-1 levels. So let's just get to the start of this. So growth hormone peptides and growth hormone, right? Growth hormone peptides, majority of them, like CJC, Semarelin, Ipamorelin, even IGF-1, they're gonna bump numbers. But what happens is with CJC and IPA and Semarelin, these things naturally stimulate your pituitary. They don't overstimulate your pituitary. So what that means is it does bump up the number of IGF-1. It just doesn't go super physiological numbers, right? It's not going to just overproduce in your pituitary. So when you talk about growth hormone, now we're talking about putting, more than what your pituitary is possibly making, right? And you're utilizing that right away. Like, boom, it's going to the pituitary, it's overstimulating, that goes to the liver, and it produces IGF-1, you're at a higher level. So, of course, yes, if you take growth hormone and you take a higher number of growth hormone, you're going to stimulate and probably get a higher IGF-1 level. No doubt, right? There's no
Yeah.
arguing with that. But
Yep.
the safer way about it would be not to overstimulate and go for super physiological levels of growth hormone because you don't need that. I mean, listen, higher level of IGF-1, yes, it can have benefits. Too high of a level of IGF-1 can cause problems. Now, both can cause growth of cells in the body, good cells or bad cells. So, if you're prone to cancer or you might have cancer and you don't know and you keep taking these things, it could cause growth of cancer cells. Now,
Wow.
growth hormone, it's more potent. It's going to grow things a lot quicker. When you talk about these peptides, when it's not producing as much stimulation, it's going to be safer no matter what. But you can still grow cancer cells, good cells or bad cells with either one. So at that point, what's the best one to take with the lowest risk? I would say CJC 1295 with Ipamorelin is going to be your best shot. That or Semarelin. Now, if we talk about one to get higher IGF-1 levels or close to super physiological levels, then we talk about MK677, ibutamoren. Now, with the studies of that, you're talking about 55 years old and older, males and females, an increase of 123% of IGF-1 levels. That's huge. So the patients that I see that come through and take MK, they will have a higher IGF-1 level usually. Like I've seen people go to 300 when the reference range is 215. So it's
Right.
not crazy, but it is a little bit over what a CJC or ipamorelin was going to do. But it's only a short amount of time that you're going to get this, right? And then you're going to have some sensitivity. You're going to get off of MK, and then you're going to go to CJC 1295. So, at that point, I think that using growth hormone peptides are good. If you're going to use growth hormone, you have the affordability. You have somebody that's going to prescribe you growth hormone. If it's monitored at a medical dose, maybe that might be a good way to go. But if you're taking it for super physiological reasons, or trying to get big, or you're doing this for really exceeded IGF-1 levels, then you're putting yourself at risk. And at that point, it might not be the best move for you. So when I go with peptides, yes.
Is HGH something though that Titan Medical does provide?
We don't.
You
The
don't.
reason is because the FDA looks really down, and the DEA, at doctors prescribing growth hormone for aging, anti-aging, for injuries. The only thing they want it prescribed for is adult growth hormone deficiency disorder or dwarfism, when kids have growth hormone deficiency disorders. Those are what it's really supposed to be, or muscle wasting. So if you have HIV or something that you're wasting away, then this is going to help keep muscle on. So those are the real purposes of growth hormone being prescribed. Now, are there doctors out there possibly prescribing growth hormone? I'm sure there are. I'm not going to say no, but is it a risk to do that as a physician? They're definitely risking their license. Do I think growth hormone?
I think it's great that you made your decision on if you guys, because you guys could do that, but you made a moral decision going, yeah, I think let's just stay safer and go this route. Because I'll tell you this, here in Hollywood, you can go to these doctors that just do Botox and stuff, and they'll also prescribe the HGH.
Yes.
So
yes. They're out there. If you want to find a doctor prescribed growth hormone, they're out there. The thing about growth hormone is it's really expensive, and I don't care if you want to just do 2 IUs a day, because usually somebody says, "Oh, I'll take 1 to 2 IUs per day," and that's decent for somebody to take as a medical dose. But even at 2 IUs a day, you're going to spend a couple $1,000s a month easy by doing that. Now, if you want to take some bump up, you want to take 4 IUs a day, at 2 IUs in the morning, 2 IUs at night, because a lot of people follow that protocol, then at that point, you're going to be spending a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. I was telling Mike, I was like, at the bottom end of things, if you want a small dose of growth hormone, you want to do it for the whole year, you're going to spend probably $24,000 and upward for that treatment. That's a lot of money for the regular person out there. Some people, they only make $50,000 a year. They're talking about half their pay is out the door right there. If it's a real rich guy or a real rich girl and they've got expendable income, I guess they could do it, or they could use it if they find the doctor. But remember now, you're going to be using growth hormone. So it's kind of like testosterone to a degree, where if you take testosterone in, your body starts recognizing that you're taking testosterone, and it shuts down natural production. So if you take growth hormone for an extended period of time, you do run the risk of shutting down the pituitary, or where you're shutting it down, or you're words right on the tip of my tongue, man. Sorry.
You're overriding yours, so it just shuts it down a bit, in a sense.
Yeah.
Suppressing.
Suppress. Thank you. Think of that word. I apologize.
Don't give me that. That was Jeff.
Thanks,
I
Jeff.
just repeated what Jeff said. I wish I was that smart.
It can definitely suppress it too as well. So, when you start talking about those things, is it worth it? Is it not? I mean, especially if you start early. You start in your 20s, you're gonna have a lifelong thing where you're gonna have to start taking growth hormone, man. Because I know guys, I know one famous wrestler. I won't say his name. Really famous. And he came to us, and he was been on growth hormone for 24 years at that point in time. So right now it's probably like 30. And when he tried to get off growth hormone, it was probably the worst thing that I mean, his body went down, his IGF-1 went down. So it's something you need to look at, not just now in the present, but what am I going to do for the future if I start taking this too as well?
I appreciate you doing that and going over it, because the video that I sent you and I wanted to discuss was the fact of there's nothing better than this one step. And I'm always interested when somebody says there's nothing better. That's always it's a trigger for me, because it's like this is the way to squat. There's no better way to squat than this. And again, this term optimal, this there's only one way to do this, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
I figured out in 10 years, when by the time I was early 20s, I already knew that's out the window. If you want to be healthy for a long time, I would squat in 10 different ways. That way the body does not get so locked in and so frigid to one thing that you do something else and you get hurt. And so the same thing here is like, well, okay, this may work the very best, but for you that are listening today, understand maybe you don't need 100% where this thing can take you. Maybe 50% better is 50% better, and you can do that for the next 30 years, and that is huge. It's we just trained with Mark Bell yesterday, and we were talking about, and I love training with powerlifters because we're engineers by trade. We're numbers guys. We're just percentages, small percentages. 1 pound over a period of time will add up to so much.
Right.
And it's the small steps over a long period of time will make you the most healthy savage in the world, relative to the guy that can just blast 100 miles an hour from the get-go. You can't maintain that. And so just take that into consideration when you're thinking about and your discussions with your wellness provider.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what is my baby step? How do I start slowly? Because I'm thinking about doing this, but I would like to think that maybe in 10 years I could be better. Maybe in 20 years I could even still be looking like I do. That would be kind of a cool goal.
Absolutely.
That being said, I do want to go over one more time for anybody that's on here. You guys can feel free to ask questions. I know you guys are here watching us talk about all this and everything like that. And this is worldwide, which I love. But I want you guys to be able to ask these questions, because you got somebody that knows and has wellness providers there. If he doesn't know it, he can ask somebody that works for him, and he'll dig deep. And the great thing about you, I know this, is that you're one of these guys. If I ask you something and there's might be something you don't know, you have no problem saying, I'm not the person to ask. Let me study up on this. Let me learn about this, and then let me get back to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to talk
So
about
what do
something I
you
don't know. Definitely not.
Right.
TB healing.
Starting BPC and TB, healing peptides for a banged up wrist and shoulder. Any thoughts?
Oh yeah.
How long would this person do it? And besides the TB, well, he's doing both. He's doing the
Yeah.
BPC and the TB.
Mhm. That's
Again,
what he
these
needs,
are
yeah.
two huge ones. And
Yeah.
I just received my Titan medical package
Oh, yes.
Packages.
packages
Yes.
on Friday on my birthday,
Mhm.
and that was in there for me. So
Yes.
I'm not banged up in the sense of this guy has a wrist injury.
Wrist and
I'm
shoulder.
trying to make sure to feed the ligaments right now. So talk to us about this.
Sure. Obviously, BBC and TB500 are awesome healing peptides. One thing I want to ask about the question is, it says the wrist and shoulder. Are the wrist and shoulder on the same arm? That's just one question to follow up with. But these are going to be great peptides to be able to utilize for both of these injuries. Now, TB500 works systemically through the body, where BPC is more site injected, more directed towards that. You can do it in both areas, so you can draw up a little bit of BPC and TB500, inject in the shoulder, and then closest to the wrist. You can actually pinch some skin on the wrist. Somebody was asking me the other day how they did it in their elbow and stuff like that, and I kind of showed them. But you can literally like pinch a little bit of skin. You're going subdermally underneath there, and you can give a little bit to the wrist. If not, if you're injecting in your shoulder, it's not going to be too far from the wrist, and TB will help as far as that goes. But if you can site inject in both locations as close as possible to the injured areas, it's going to be your best bet. Now, BPC 157 and TB500 are on that schedule list and that ban list. So right now, these pharmacies are still open and making these things. But there is a couple different pharmacies that have stopped these things. But I got a call yesterday from one of the owners, and they do have some new peptides that they're releasing. So some of these peptides are going to take the place, or might even be better than these healing peptides that we have now, supposedly. Obviously, I'm going to give them the first run. I'm going to see
I
exactly how
was
they
gonna
are and how
say
they
you're gonna
work.
try it. It's
Oh,
gonna try it.
I'm patient zero. I've been patient zero for 11 and a half years. If
It's
it's
gonna go
good,
in.
I'm going to tell you it's good. If it's bad, I'm not even going to talk to you guys about it because I'm like, man, I ain't even.
There you
I will
go.
not back something that doesn't work for sure. And I'm telling you guys from the start, like back in the day, like when I first started Titan Medical Center, it was like the Wild Wild West. Like, a pharmacy, if you say you wrote them a prescription and you wanted testosterone 400 milligrams per ml, these guys would make it, at that point. And the testing wasn't as secure as it is now, or wasn't as necessary or required, I guess. So they'd make up that batch, that first batch, and they send it out. I've had testosterone crystallize in me. I've had, when we first started making the aminos, man, I'll tell you what, those injections, they were really, really kind of painful to a degree. And now it's just like, it's even keel. So,
So I
good and
just
bad,
did this movie. I did this movie Divinity, and in the movie Divinity, my brother is finishing our father's work, and he's creating this super, I guess, super juice or something.
Superhuman.
It's
Yes.
super,
Yeah.
and it is to so I could live forever and be strong. And so that is the movie version. John is the real thing. He's been testing this stuff. And see, I didn't in the movie. I didn't know I was taking it. And Johnny's actually going, I'm taking this stuff.
I got,
So
I gotta take it. That
you
way,
live in it.
I'm living it. I'm the rat. So at that point, people can say, "All right, listen, how was it?" And I can tell you the honest response of how it was, how it worked for me. And then, if I think it works all right and stuff like that, there's patients that have been with us for 11 years, and they're raring for new therapies and new different things. So at that point, I'll let some of them try it next and see how it is. But I'm telling you, there's a good amount of new peptides that are going to be released, and I'm going to be talking about some of them because there are some that are really good researched. And like I said, if I give them the A+, they'll be good to go.
All right, here's a good one. We can talk about this for, and I want to go back up to the other one about ordering stuff. But just a side note here is, I just would warm up correctly, just for anything like that. But today's really talking about, besides, because I've trained and done behind the neck press for 45 years, and I've never actually gone into the gym and said, I'm gonna warm up my rotator cuff.
I never heard
I
that.
just moved through the exercises, move the arms through, and like we did yesterday with Mark Bell, we were doing some flies that the layman's person would look at and just scream. They would cry by looking at our form because we're all up here, flat back, outside, coming up over here. And so just warm up. Somebody put a good one here. Is that correct? Go for that.
Yeah. So if you get any sort of medicine off-brand, not from the official source, it could lead to different causes, most being dangerous, and that is correct.
So I think what we're saying is when you order peptides off the internet, the black market and stuff like that, you don't know what you're getting.
No.
And this is one of the biggest things that me and Johnny talked about when we first teamed up.
Yeah.
That this is all I heard about is people going, oh, I don't go to any of the clinics. I don't do that. I just get it offline.
Yeah. You're taking risk. You're taking risk of one, it hurting you. Two, doing nothing, completely nothing. So yeah, you might have bought the file
Well,
for
it does
40
something.
bucks.
Spends your money.
Takes your
exactly.
money, yeah.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
just
you're
that's cool that you guys got that
Yeah.
kind of free money just to throw it away for something that's bathwater, as we said in the
Yeah.
80s.
I mean,
It's-
somebody tried to argue with me on there, like, "Oh yeah, but it's all tested." I'm like, where is it tested? I mean, I know this stuff, guys. Like, you understand like how many peptide
It got tested, but didn't pass the test, Jeff said.
Yeah, exactly. No, it probably didn't pass the test. I mean, I have like all these wholesalers, distributors from China, India, and from the United States over here trying to sell me bulk packages of peptides. And all they
Right.
do is they buy from these places and then you order and they ship out the package, whatever it is, right? And they already have
Yeah.
these things aren't tested or third party tested or anything like that. And any third party testing I've seen for some of these places that put these things up here, it's like, this is like Photoshop, guys. Like I've never heard of these labs before, so it's just really weird with some of these places, and I can't believe that the federal government's letting it go on. I mean, they crack down on pharmacies about peptides, but they won't crack down on these places for selling not even monitored peptides. I mean, not even tested peptides. There's no testing that goes on for these things. So at that point, it's kind of scary. And then you got everybody and their mama trying to sell these things through research sites. One of the biggest things I see is I've seen people in the medical field that are nurses, right? They've been in it for 30 years. Start selling semaglutide illegally like that, without a prescription, without anything. I'm like, you're not supposed to be doing these things, but people, I don't know what to say. I guess agreed to
Making that extra money on the side.
This is what it is.
There was a movie out years ago by my old school training partner, Chris Bell, called Bigger, Faster, Stronger.
I remember.
And the movie was great. It was a documentary, but in the movie, at one point, he does a nice little scenario where he was talking about the FDA and that vitamins are not regulated in any sense.
Right.
And that they just were getting stuff together in their kitchen and making it and selling it. And it was, there you go. So that's what they're talking about when they're saying that it's tested. Somebody's mom said, yeah, it looks good. Let's go. So if you're going to do it, I just don't know of a person that has that kind of money to throw away, and just go to Titan Medical. Again, if you don't want to do the blood test because you feel like it's beneath you, whatever that means, at least get the peptides that are real at that point.
Yeah. I mean, it's a peace of mind, right? It's like, all right, I know this has been tested. I know this is coming from a legitimate pharmacy. It's prescribed in my name for human consumption, because every vial that you get from a research site says not for human consumption. It's illegal, right? Rick Collins, he'll tell you this all day. It's illegal for somebody to say that these research chemicals on these sites are for human use, or infer that that you can use these for human use. It's just crazy. So I just, it is what it is. Maybe they'll go after him, maybe they won't. I don't know. They haven't went after him yet, and just these places just keep popping up left and right, just more and more.
They keep going.
Yes.
Let's see if we have any other questions here. So we talked about a couple of the peptides that we're talking about. Glutathione. Can you explain the difference? Because I was trying to do some research, and they were talking about the supplementation. Glutathione is going to just get broken down in the stomach compared to the injectable, which you guys offer. Obviously, injectable seems like it's always the better go.
Yes.
So
it's always better route for injections.
Could you mix the glutathione and also have that with your new peptide that you're talking about this week to help boost your body, your immune system?
Absolutely. You could put the thymosin alpha-1 in there, and you could put, let's say, 70 units of glutathione in there, and you're going to get a strong immune system boost like that. Even if you got our Triimmune, which has glutathione, vitamin C, and zinc in it, you can do that the exact same way. 70 units, and you put the 30 units of thymosin alpha-1, you're going to get an even more boost of immune system. For that, it's real simple and easy. Like glutathione is a mother of antioxidants. It's actually produced in your liver automatically. It depletes over time. It depletes with sickness, drinking, smoking, any harm done to the body, surgeries, anything like that. It depletes glutathione. So, getting your glutathione levels up is a good way to boost your immune system, get rid of free radicals in the body too as well, or defend. So at that point, if you're injecting glutathione, it's also great for liver functions. So we talked about this before, where people might have a fatty liver, or they're taking some sort of supplementation or something orally that it's passing through the liver and causing stress in the liver, and the liver is starting to get up number-wise, which at that point cannot process fats through it fast enough or faster, or anything else is fast. So it's not running optimal. So if you're taking glutathione by itself, you can take it, or you can take it with thymosin alpha-1 for even more of a boost. If you're taking glutathione, you can take it every day. You can take it for 2 weeks straight. You can take it every day, every other day, 2 weeks straight, or however you want to, really. Just depends what you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to do a maintenance dose, you can do that every day or every other day. If you're trying to get liver functions down, 2 to 3 weeks straight of glutathione will get those ALT, AST numbers down within range or trending down pretty low.
Then I'd assume like a 12-week protocol with glutathione would be great, and then take another 12 weeks off.
Sure. I mean, listen, you can go on. I would say, if you're going to go on it and you want to go really balls to the wall per se, right? Take it every day, 200 milligrams. You can take that for 30 days straight. If you want to go on a
And that'd
maintenance
be
dose after that, yeah. If you want to go on a maintenance dose after that, you can go every other day or you can go 2 times a week. At that point, you
okay.
can get your maintenance of glutathione. And at that point, you want to take it every single day. Some people don't like it. It might sting a little bit. It is cold when it comes out of the fridge. Viscosity is thickened, so that means the liquid will be a little bit thicker. So when you pull it out, you can recap the needle. Be very careful when you do this. And at that point, you can let it sit out for a couple minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, so it warms up a little bit. And it won't hurt as bad or won't sting as bad for some people.
Or you can be like me that told my brother, make sure when you get it out of the fridge to instantly get the shot and put it in. And smile every
Did he do
time. Go, that shot, oh yeah, he's been doing it for 3 months now. 3 months. He's like, dude, that shot really hurts me. Oh man, sorry. Yeah, it's just the way it goes. It's my brother. Oh well.
Oh man,
He's the same one I did the pancake mix with. He goes, hey, I need protein, so he came over every couple weeks, and I would take out, and this is back in the day, I'd take out my Metrex protein food replacement and just put baking pancake mix in it with some sugar, and I gave him that for months. He got jacked. He's like, dude, I'm sure, but I'm breaking out everywhere. What's going on, Donnie? You got to do those tricks on your family.
Absolutely. You got to bust their chops a little bit.
Okay.
Oh my God,
I love it, man. What is this one here?
What should I start with after getting back training since COVID? I want to try it with high intensity HIT. Okay, but I don't think I should jump back into it. What do you think? Just talking about just get to the gym. Just get your ass to the gym.
Jump
there.
back into it.
Yeah.
Go start somewhere.
Yeah.
Start.
Just start.
There.
Yeah, it's easy.
That was an easy one.
If you haven't worked out since COVID, there's a problem.
I like this.
Absolutely.
I like when they do this.
Yeah.
Hey, Johnny, what do you think about the 100% fruit diet?
What does that
I've
even
seen
mean?
some guys doing this. Cali Muscle's been doing this. I've seen, the watermelon, the pineapple, and stuff like that. I've seen some other influencers doing this. I wouldn't do it. Guys, we gotta get certain things in our body, and protein for me is one of them. I mean, I gotta eat protein. I gotta eat meat some sort. I mean, at that point,
There's no such thing as 100% fruit diet.
Imagine-
Sounds fruity to
I
me.
just-
Chicken.
It's not gonna be the best for your gains. Let's put it that way, and it's probably not gonna be the best for your sugar levels too at all. Even if you eat a ton of fruit, I know you get diarrhea too, so that can cause dehydration. I mean, I don't know how some of these guys are doing. I've seen some of these guys do it and lose a ton of weight, which is great, but muscle is going along with the weight that they're losing, and I just don't think it's an optimal way to feed your body. If you want to do intermediate fasting and then eat too as well, I think that would be a better course than a 100% fruit diet. I don't know.
that's,
What do
Be
you
careful what you
I mean,
think you're seeing.
I
I'm just saying.
definitely think
Be
I would
careful
eat
what you
protein.
think you're seeing on an influencer posting. This is all
Yeah.
I'm doing on my diet. Use common sense, guys.
This was the
Yeah.
answer to Johnny. I don't know if you saw this. Remember the wrist and the shoulder? You said you wanted to know if
Yeah.
he's in the same arm. So here's
Yeah.
your answer right there.
Yep.
Did you
Got
see
all
that?
Swift chems, different arm for the injuries. Wrist was small fracture 3 months ago. Shoulder was hurt, undiagnosed 1 year from bench press. Thank you. All right, so I mean, definitely you can utilize on these therapies on both arms. Swiss chems, that's what I'm talking about. Like I mean, there's a million and one of these peptide sites out there, and I know people are like, man, BPC didn't work for me. I was like, really? I'm like, well, where'd you get it from? Oh, I got it from Peptides R Us or whatever. I don't want to name a site, but
John in the
Peptides
locker
R
room.
Us. And I'm like, well, that's probably why. I'm like, you got it for what, $30 or whatever? Yeah. I'm like, well, you get what you pay for, man. I mean, I hate to say it. If somebody told me, like, if they called up and they're like, hey, man, PPC didn't work for me, I'd be like, well, we need to check out what's really going on, because I'm telling you guys, from personal use to I don't know how many patients have used this for all different types of injuries. it definitely helps. Even if it's taking away the inflammation for a little bit of the time, it definitely helps one way or the other for sure, guys.
If you're
Yeah.
taking BPC and TB, what would your go-to third be for like
For for
injuries?
healing,
Yeah.
for healing,
IGF.
I'd probably want to raise. I'd probably put an IGF-1 if I could take it.
Look at
If I
me,
had to
I'm
take
learning.
three,
Look at me, I'm learning. I called it.
yeah, I would probably take IGF-1. Just for recovery purposes because we know it's going to stimulate. I mean, when people get really injured, sometimes and that's where growth hormone supposedly comes in play, and then they take some of these different things. Um, but I mean, I know guys that have had torn labrums and stuff like that, and they've took growth hormone at high doses, real growth hormone. I'm talking about spending probably like 30 or 40,000 or something like that over a year's time span, and not getting, it didn't heal. Let's put it that way. So at that point, like the guy still had to have surgery. So
And
not to
IGF
say
over CJC.
for a short time span, I would run the IGF. If you're going to run a long time span, like even if you were saying like, all right, I want to do this and get started and get a jump start, that'd probably be the way I'd go with the IGF and the two BPC and TB 500. And then what I would do is after like maybe the second or third month, then I would go to CJC with 1295 with ipamorelin.
Okay.
There we go.
That would be my goal for sure.
Yeah. Go for it.
Just wanted to say thanks for your inspiration. Mike started lifting and got into shape after my heart attack when I started watching your
I started
videos.
watching your videos.
Wow.
Ooh, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
You just
I
motivated
don't-
this guy to live better and live longer, Mike.
I love this.
That's
Can you
awesome.
talk more about doping in sports? I don't know what the
Might as
point
well.
would be. You want to talk about it? I don't know what the point would be.
Listen, guys, it's real simple and easy. All the federations have banned substances. Some federations, there are loopholes in how they get these banned substances. Like, let's just talk about the WWE, right? At that point, like, there's a lot of guys on TRT through that, right? But they're all prescribed TRT, and if they're not prescribed, they get in trouble, right? If they get found and they're taking these different things. So, and if you're in different sports, I was just talking about this the other day. Tristan Thompson, he's a basketball player. He got caught with MK677 in his bloodstream. He is banned for 20 games. So, if you are a professional sport, you should really know, what your guidelines are, right? And know your list of what banned substances are and aren't. Like even for WADA, like up until it was like last year, a year before, you could take BBC 157 legally. TB 500 was on their ban list, but BBC wasn't. Now BBC 157 is on their ban list. So you got to know these different things. And there are, like I said, there's loopholes and everything to a certain degree. Like I know like a lot of basketball players are taking growth hormone, and growth hormone you could get around. Even back in the day, I was watching, and you should tell me this right away, Mike. So when I watched the documentaries on gladiators, right? American gladiators. In those American Gladiator documentaries, they said at one point, I don't remember I think his name wasn't Gemini, it was the original black guy, and he like flipped out, right? And then they found out like this guy was juicing or whatever it was. So they banned steroids. Now I guess the big thing was after that, and I don't know if this is true or not, but they said that growth hormone was not banned, and then that was the go-to for some of the athletes there. So I don't know what's true, what's not, but I do know that, growth hormone is not considered a steroid, an anabolic steroid. It is banned by WADA.
Oh,
It is
okay.
banned by a lot
I
of
gotcha.
federations. You know what I'm saying? But it's
Yeah.
not a steroid. So a lot of people get around that and start taking growth hormone. Or
So-
if you are in professional sports, if you have a doctor, in some cases, in most cases, you can get a prescription and you can be monitored and you can legally take these things. Football players, I know a lot of those guys can go up to 1,000 as far as their total T level. So different things that, you think, oh, everything's banned in these different places. If it's done correctly, if you got the blessing, if you've got the right prescription, the doctor's looking, then some sports you can kind of finagle. But if you think you're just going to take stuff and you're going to go play the sport, you're putting yourself at a high risk to get caught. And I've had, I don't know how many professional athletes that come to me already, and a lot that have already tried to come to me and get illegal substances. And I won't do it for the athletes. And the reason is because I tell them, I said, listen, You don't want to be on the news, and I don't want to be on the news. And we're not
Mhm.
having any problems.
You
Okay.
don't want
It
another,
happened with Peyton
yeah,
Manning.
Barry
When
Bonds.
Peyton Manning got caught, he got caught taking growth hormone, and it was prescribed in his wife's name and become a major thing. I'm like, dude, I don't need that. They say any publicity is good publicity, but I'm telling you what, I don't need that.
Not
So
no
at that point,
more. That's definitely not the
I
case.
try to stay away from it. But listen, it's out there, and it's a question that a lot of people ask me, and I get a lot of athletes that ask me. But you guys should know your banned substances and what you can and can't do.
Yeah, we'll talk about gladiators another time. But I will say this: the cool thing about gladiators for me was the show started like 86, 87 when I was in high school.
Yeah,
And then I got on at 90, late 89, 90. And by the time I got there, we had to be drug tested.
yeah,
And so that was another stage of my career that the society doesn't get, is that
right.
my whole career I was tested. You know,
Right.
it's always a funny thing that we go back to that. And so that didn't make the cut on the Gladiators documentary, but
Yeah,
we have the footage talking about almost every aspect of my career and stuff was tested,
yeah,
which is great for me. And in the future, being able to talk about that young kid that was cool going slow, in the sense of I didn't need to rush the process. So I was lucky, and I'm still here today. And again, maybe some of those young decisions I made, I know they are, allowed me to become the only guy to do the original Gladiators and the reboot Gladiators. And so
yep,
health is by far the most important thing to me, over maybe looking good, um, uh, being strong as a freaking 5 men.
yep.
The most important thing is that I feel healthy and am healthy because I'm a father, and that was the number one goal for me growing up, to be just a someone that can be a savage his whole life. And so Titan Medical can teach you, can help you, can lead you in the right way, and answer those questions on, hey, should I do HGH or should I do CJC? What? And they'll answer those questions. They'll have those talks. Just because they may not do one system or something doesn't mean they won't tell you or answer your question when you have that question about, I would like to do this. Well, okay, but let me give you both sides of the story.
Right.
And you're getting it from somebody that really knows this stuff. You want to add to that?
Yeah, we care. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, we're not just,
We
there's places
care.
out there will, at that point, like if oh, I want this, I want that, all right, cool, no problem, but do they care about your health, right? We care about longevity. We want longevity. We want somebody to be healthy and improve quality of life longer. That's the whole point of this. It's not for a short-term goal that we're trying to get you jacked or cut or as big as hell in like 1 month, but like total detriment to your health, dude. Total detriment to your longevity, vitality. So at that point, like that's what we're here to do for you patients out there. Like, I see somebody out there, like, what do you do as 50-year-old women? Listen, you call us up, text us up, we'll blood test, we'll
Yeah.
see exactly what's going on. We'll go over a consultation, which is 30, 45 minutes to an hour. It really depends on you and how many questions you have, and give you all the answers that you're looking for and give you the best possible personal regimen that's going to benefit you and reach, hopefully help you reach your goals. And at that point, that's going to be healthy and sustainable. Like I said, there's a lot of people out there, they don't really know what to do, and they ask somebody online and then they just go do it. And it's like, listen, if you have the choice to be able to talk to somebody that really knows and understands what this is going to do for you and how it's going to help, and then be able to monitor you doing it, that's really the way to go, guys. I mean, back in the day, there wasn't anything like this when I was growing up or anything like that. You kind of had to go to the person that was in the gym that looked the best or
Yeah.
the biggest and kind of say, hey, listen, what are you doing? Because I want to be like you. And then they break down whether they told you the truth or they lied to you. You got the answer one way or the other, and then you were like, all right, this is what I'm going to do, and that's what you went and tried to accomplish. But now you have so many different options on the board, and you have so much information, and you have people that are reputable and have the education to be able to tell you what to do and guide you the right way.
Well, I
I
want to
love
say
that.
before we lose you today is that, again, sorry about what's going on.
Oh, it's all right, man. It's all right.
Fully understand. And then also thank you for the package from Titan Medical on my birthday on Friday with the BPC, the TB, and the IGF. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And so again, for you guys that don't realize, man, get your butts on over there and see what they can do to optimize your health.
Yes.
Ladies.
Help you guys. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, Thymosin Alpha 1 is on special this week, and IGF-1 LR3. So there's really no discounts on IGF-1 LR3. So I would take advantage of it while you can.
And then also the Titan Medical Challenge is going on right now.
Yes.
There's time for you guys to get in there, get signed up, rocking and rolling. And then again, the Titan Medical team will be over at the Arnold Classic. Who's coming with you?
So I'm thinking Drew and Rodney are probably going to go, and then I'm going to bring Destiny, this girl Amanda, and possibly Stacy. So should be pretty good. I didn't want to bring a whole bunch of people because I'm like, where are we all going to stand? What are we going to do? Because I haven't.
Because it's already done technically. We're going to be collecting. Right? It's
That's
already.
What I'm saying. So I guess we can just be getting cool content.
Whoever you want to play.
I mean, I don't know. How many people you think I should bring?
I think that's good enough.
A couple for the booth.
Yep.
A couple hotties, and definitely Big Drew, always, man. So everybody that walks in there feels small and goes, okay, whatever you're doing, I got to do. That man's a monster.
So I'll bring the Twin Towers.
And then a couple people to be filming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I got that. Art's coming. Yeah. Andrea's coming. I got
Art's
all
coming.
that set. So
Andreas, all right.
Art's coming. Andrea's coming. So so we can be full on blast when we're out there and doing all things. And hopefully I have the other pair of glasses for you. So I got you a pair of glasses, right? Those Ray-Bans for your birthday. But I wanted to get you the clear lens ones because, you can use those outside, right? And you can live stream on them. You can take video and you don't have to say anything, which is really cool. So if you're working outside and you're at Venice Gold's Gym and you're training and got them on and you want to do a first person POV, it's awesome. But if you're inside, the clear ones, you look like James Bond 1 or Clark Kent. And at that point, you're catching all the video.
Take either of those.
Thank you, Johnny. Wow.
Yeah. Thank you, John, man. I appreciate you hanging, my man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys as much.
We'll talk soon.
Everybody. Thank you. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you for hanging out with me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, we are. We had fun. A lot of good knowledge. So
always good knowledge with him.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, ooh, look at the echo on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you again for this one. This was pretty badass. I appreciate that.
Mike, can you speak Romanian?
Just been trying.
Actually, truthfully, been learning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Let me get this guy.
He's going to have to learn so he can talk to Titan.
Right.
Because if not, Titan and I are going to talk about you and you're not going to know what we're saying. So.
You guys can talk about me. Any final questions for you guys? I see there was a lot of training questions. We'll answer those in the Titan crew. All right.
Yes.
All right.
Peace out.